Oh, okay. Some on the side.
Yeah, there's more over
Okay.
here. Over there. So,
Oh, okay.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So we were hoping that
Good afternoon.
when I asked the kids what they wanted to ask you, a lot of them asked about specifically about how you kind of got to know about Jim Thorpe's life, and then what your kind of inspiration for writing this book was. And then we'd just like to hear from you about what you do. And then I have a lot of the kids have specific questions, but those were kind of the two burning questions.
Yeah. Well, I always wanted to do a sports book of some kind. I guess that's the starting point. And I've done a lot of history, but never one about sports. So I wanted to do something that combined those two things. And Jim Thorpe's story, and especially the Carlisle and the football team story, I think it's one of those stories that just has everything. It's just incredible. I think the best underdog sports story I've ever come across. So it's all true, yet it's almost impossible to believe because it's so amazing. So that's the kind of stuff that I look for, and that's what inspired me to do the book. And that's my job. I sit in this office. I don't know how much of it you can see. You see the bulletin board behind me. It's almost like a classroom, except it's like they're not as deep, but
Looks like you have better snacks.
yeah, snacks, the microwave. Yeah, exactly. But it's just, this is what I have books all over the place. I can show you some of mine from here. Like there's just bookshelves and the bulletin board. And that's it. It's pretty small. And yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's just, I used to work at I had either a library every day or I worked at home. I had kids for third and sixth grade. And so I get them off to school and they just come here. And mostly read research stories and then write.
So then behind you is like a chronological timeline with actual pictures of the people you're writing about.
Yes, and for a long time that was the Carlisle. This is a whole different story that I'm researching, but I like doing that. It's something that I learned for when I was your age, your guys' age. My brother and I loved to make little movies together, just like little videotapes. It turned out that they were really terrible because I watched some recently. But we thought they were funny at the time. We really did. Nobody told us they were terrible. And so that was our whole dream, writing and trying to make movies all through our 20s. And one of the things that we learned, if you take a screenwriting class, which I really recommend, because it's good for any kind of storytelling, is they teach you to make these storyboards, which is probably similar to stuff you do in school, where you take all your best ideas and just put it on a board. And each card represents a scene or an idea for a character. You put up pictures. So that's what I did. That's what's behind me. So for Carlisle, I had all the photographs of the different players. I had their schedules from different years. Newspapers had about famous games. And it sort of becomes an outline, a very visual and inspiring outline of the school that you're doing.
I think one thing that a couple of kids said to me was how shocking it was that they had no safety equipment at that time.
I didn't know the history. I liked football. I didn't know the history of it. And man, because you think of it being, it's very dangerous now. Obviously, people get hurt. But in those days, it was even much more dangerous. The players weren't as big, but they had no equipment. And they did these plays where they would just ram into each other, head first while locking arms together. I was pretty shocked at how frequently people died playing football.
Right, you don't really think about that in this day and age as much, although they do get injured for sure. So, kids, who would like to go first? Haley?
Where'd you go to get your book published?
Oh, honey, why don't you come up here? I don't think he can hear you. we make a line here. So if you'd like to ask a question, come on over here to the side and we'll make a line. Sit right there.
Hi. Oh yeah, this one is I've been working with this publisher for a while. When I first started, like every new writer, I didn't have a publisher, it took a long time. And you send it out and publishers reject it. That happens to everyone. It happened to Harry Potter when it was first, before anyone heard of it. Can you believe people rejected that considering how many billions of dollars it's made? But people, at first, it just always happened to every writer. And but now I'm lucky to have this publisher I've worked with. So when I have a new idea, I just have to go to them and try to convince them to do it. That doesn't mean very well. Sometimes they say no. But I said I have this idea for a football story that's also a history story, and it's got really exciting sports action, and they said, okay, yeah, let's do that. So that's basically how it got started. Yeah.
Would you categorize it as a biography?
No, some people do, and I understand why. Not exactly. I would call it more of a sports book. Of course, it has that main character, but I didn't think of it as a biography because it doesn't cover his whole life. I just tell you up to his time at the school and the Olympics, so he's still only in his 20s, early 20s.
Okay, thank you, Keely. How about our next question? Why did you write the book?
Yeah, why? I think it's because I love sport, especially underdog sports story. I thought it would make a really exciting book to read. The games that they played were really exciting, and you won't know as a reader, you definitely won't know who's going to win. So even though it's a true story that actually happened, it's still a mystery because the readers won't know that they went to Harvard that time, and they really wanted to win, but are they going to? So it had all that kind of true stuff. When I'm doing nonfiction, of course, I'm not allowed to make anything up, even if I want to sometimes. So that was why I did it, because this was a story where you just didn't have to make anything up for it to be really exciting.
Thank you, Harold. All right, we have our next student here.
And yeah, he's amazing. For most of the last 100 years, he was still super famous. I don't think he really is anymore. Had anyone heard of him before hearing about this book? I heard of it maybe when I was your age, but just barely. But in his time, he was he's the most famous athlete today. You think? Who do you think of when I say that? Think of someone like LeBron James or Steph Curry or someone like that. He was that in his time, the most famous guy. And I didn't know about it. And I kind of like that. I kind of like starting a book where I don't know that much about it, because then it's fun. I get to learn. And his story, not only was he one of the greatest athletes ever, for sure, because he was great in football, he played pro baseball, he won gold medals at the Olympics. But his story is also really just dramatic. Not is a happy one, you probably know. A lot of ups and downs. He had a really tough childhood. So I just got really interested in his life and his achievements in sports, both of them. Sure, thank you.
What was your favorite part of the book?
Ah, a good one. I think some of those kind of climactic games that they played, especially the one against Harvard and then the one against Army. Those games, I don't know if you've read the whole thing or no. I don't want to give any spoilers, but that was my favorite. It was just because it really felt like a movie or something. You got to know this team and these guys. You really, really want them to win. And so it was fun to write those scenes because I know that as a reader, you're not going to know how it's all going to turn out. And there was a really good source. These games were such a big deal. They were a bigger deal than the World Series, baseball. Those games. It was just the biggest thing in the country. So there were lots and lots of newspaper articles and photographs that I could use to recreate almost a highlight reel of those games.
Thank you so much.
Hey.
So I noticed when you guys on TV, you have a photo of Benedict on it. What made you write about it?
Oh, that was the first one of these. If you see the back, you can see my last 5 books. Yeah, he's just outrageous. I used to write, this is kind of embarrassing to admit, but I used to write history textbooks. So really boring books in other words. And I was always trying to get him in. You guys know what Benedict Arnold is famous for? If you know one thing. Yeah, that's all anyone knows. He's a traitor, but I always tried to get more in, because he's really, to me, he's like this kind of out of control action hero, almost like you'd see in a Hollywood action movie, 200 years before movies, obviously. And he was just, everything he did was over the top. As a soldier, he was brilliant, but also a little bit crazy. And his life was just super dramatic. And so I always wanted to tell that story, and they would never let me put in it. Those official school books, the people said, my editors, oh, you can know that. Just say that he was a traitor, that's all you need to know. And I would say, what a waste. It's such I mean, history can be, let's face it, it can be boring. It's just a matter, if you're just telling me to date, it's a fact. But here's a guy who has this incredible story. And so that was the first one, those ones that you see up back, that was the first one I did, because I just knew it could work. I just knew that it wouldn't be boring. And that was my main motivation at that. That's like 10 years ago, but that was. Hi. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just really to do it. I kind of make a joke of those days when I was writing history textbooks. I did that almost 10 years, sad to say. But the good thing was it was just practice, just like anything, whether it's soccer or music or anything. You really just have to do it every day. And that's not the most exciting advice, I know, but it's just really true. It took me a while until I was able to get good at it. So I think you just have to do it. Don't think about it too much. Just if you have an idea for a story or a comic. Both my kids have these funny comics that they do. And just write it down and show it to somebody. Like if you write something, do you like to show it to somebody, or is it a little bit hard to do that? Because I always felt like a little bit embarrassed to show something new, but I feel like if you just get something down and don't worry about it too much and show it to a friend or a teacher and really listening to their advice, you can automatically make it so much better by just going back and revising a little bit. That's the main thing I've learned. It's funny from doing this job, and I travel and meet other writers who have these famous books, and they always tell me, they'll say, well, my first drafts are really terrible, but I don't want people to know because you would think it was a good writer. They kind of admit that when they first do it, it's not very good, and I felt much better hearing that. I was reassured because I didn't know everyone else felt the same way. Yeah, overall, yes. I find actual writing pretty hard. I don't know if you guys agree. Do you ever have, you know what you want to say, and maybe it's you do the next day, but it's still hard to get started? You know that feeling? Some people don't have that, but I definitely do, especially if it's a blank screen or page. I hate that. So I don't find writing from draft to be that much fun, honestly. It really feels just like a job. But once I get it all down there, I like finding the stories. I don't like the first draft part, but then once I get it all down, just like I was saying before, I can show it to people and they can tell me what parts they liked, what parts didn't make sense. And then that's kind of fun to go back, edit it, and switch things around to make it smoother, really fast. The whole process, maybe for a book like this, might take a year and a half, let's say. Seems like a long time, right? And only maybe a third of that is actually writing that first draft. The rest is either researching it or revising it. Yeah, that's a good follow-up to what we were just saying. It's probably 6 months worth of reading to start with. I like that part. Maybe not everybody would really enjoy that part of the job, but I do. And so I find for Jim Thorpe, I've read all the books, all the newspaper articles. I know somebody who knew his sons and like connect those little kind of connections where I could do family stories. I went to Carlisle and went to the school, and their art that they have there. I really like that part of it. Is when I get to travel and see places that are in the book. And but that's a lot, right? 6 months is a lot. I think I was doing the kind of storyboard, bulletin board that I have behind me, and start finding my favorite stories and putting them up on my board because I took by myself. Yeah, that's gonna be in. That's gonna be in there. So I feel like I need to know pretty much about them before I can start. And I talk to people who write novels, fiction, for instance, and they say they're different. They say I just start. I don't even know the ending yet. But you can't really do that when you're. I think with history, you can't make stuff up. I think you have to know more about it ahead of time. To make sure that there's a good story there, and that you have a good ending to it. You can't just make it up. So that's my process.
So Steve, I'm going to interrupt you for just a moment. Sorry, the bell's about to ring to let about half of the kids go ending lunch, and then the rest will still be here. But just need about 2 minutes to transition.
We're just going to which is something that I really like.
All right, so now you have all our attention back. Thank you.
That's true.
Okay, so did you get a chance to ask your question, Kennedy? Oh, okay. So now we have Lincoln.
I'm going to Lincoln. You are? Where you moving? No, but mom said she would take me. I'll take a city.
That goes way back to when I was your age. I think it wasn't school stuff so much, to be honest. It was kind of funny writing. At least I thought it was funny. Like, does anyone there have any of you guys have your own comics, characters that you created and draw? I'm sure some of you do. You don't have to show it to me now. But that's what I like to do. So that's the kind of thing that's inspired me, is writing comics and then funny, like scripts for little videos that my brother and I would make, which I thought were funny. Now I'm not so sure they were, but at the time, that's what inspired me. It was like a fun thing that we did on the weekends, was make little video movies. And that's the kind of writing that I like to do. If it was for school, it wasn't. Sometimes I did not enjoy that so much.
Have you ever been approached by filmmakers to turn one of your books into a movie?
Yes, that's happened a few times. Of course, I think they would be great movies. But yeah, it has happened, and hopefully something will come of it. Some people have said, "Oh, yeah, why don't you do this and make that?" And I hope it will happen.
Where's your Maya? Where's your Maya?
Victoria.
Hey. Okay. That's a great question. That's really smart. I think it would be something about persistence You know, like that it's going to take time, because I definitely didn't think that. I thought, well, I've got to have a book published by the end of this year. I've got to get this done by this age or that age or the end of this year. And I was pretty unrealistic about it. And then would get sad when things didn't happen or when something got rejected that I thought was really good. And so that's the main thing I would say is, as long as you're learning something, even if it gets rejected, maybe you can look at it again and make it a little bit better. It can become a positive thing. That's what I would have told myself. I'm not sure I would have believed it, you know, because sometimes it takes that experience and learning by failing a little bit to get to the next step. But it's a really good question to think about.
What was the early experience where you learned about making power?
That's another really good question. I've never gotten that one. Yeah, writing and language is power, definitely. I'm thinking all like way back to even school days when I wrote a couple like little articles for a newspaper, and the power that I'm remembering is just thinking there was something that maybe I might get good at someday. You know, like that feeling, not knowing what I was good at or anything, really. And I remember being asked to write an article for a school paper and thinking, well, I was very flattered, because I thought, well, maybe it did feel kind of powerful, you know, in a way. The article wasn't important. I kind of remember it being about some kind of after-school activities, nothing important, but in that sense, even though what I was writing about wasn't important, it had a lot of power for me because it was inspiring. It made me think I wanted to do more of that. That's a really good question. I'm going to think about it more. Think up with more answers.
This is Alina. She was our Battle of the Books champ last year.
Okay, so my first question is actually for a friend who had to leave. So he asked, since you have to like write history and to get all the facts straight, so like you have to make sure everything's credible and correct. How long did it actually take you to write Undefeated?
Yeah, it's true. That's maybe about a year and a half to 2 years altogether. And some of that is, I think it breaks down to half research, right? It is true that that's a part of it, is getting all the facts right. Because you can't make anything up. Sometimes I'm jealous of people who write novels because that's hard too, in its own way. It's very hard, but at least you can make something up and make up a scene if you want to. And you just can't in nonfiction, but it still has to be exciting to read. And so that's the biggest amount of time I spend of anything, is researching, making sure it's right, and making sure I found enough good story.
And then I was going to ask, what's your favorite book? It's a really hard question. Like, I can't answer this myself, but what's one of your favorite books at least?
Oh, you mean like out in the world?
Yeah, like anything.
Yeah, you're right. It's impossible to answer. So you know what but I know I just read with my son the Percy Jackson books. So those are high on my list. And those are like really good. Obviously, they're not meant for adults necessarily, but I can just appreciate how good they are and how exciting and how much I would have loved them when I was your age, or maybe a little younger. You probably read them a couple years ago. But those are really good. That's what came to mind when you said that.
Thank you.
Sure.
Have you met Jordan before or seen him?
No, I haven't run across him. Yeah, I know we used to visit schools and stuff like that, and now he's so big, you probably don't do so much of that anymore. Hey, how's it going? With who? Sorry? A sign book, oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've worked on it through my, I don't know exactly when I started, in the mid-40s, I would say. And wait, so signed book. Do you have a book right there? Do you have one? Here, I'll sign it over the internet.
I can send it to you if you want to send it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to sign it. Or I could sign one and send it to the library.
Ask and you shall receive, Jemaya. Cool.
Can you tell me of the same paragraph?
Another one of our champs.
Oh,
Was there a certain author you wanted to like follow in your first steps to write the stories?
yeah, it's different for different books. Like sometimes I wrote for earlier books I was trying to do more like the spy thriller kind of thing. I wrote a book, The Bomb, which is about World War II and the making of the atomic bomb, and so it has a lot of spying in it. And I was specifically, for those, I read a lot of spy thrillers from the Cold War era. So it's never a specific writer so much as a specific style. Like for this one, I read a couple of sports books and really exciting books that combine sports and history. There was one called Sea Biscuit, which was actually about horse racing. This woman named Laura Hillenbrand, and I don't care about horse racing at all. I don't get it at all, but if you can make that, she did a good job of making it exciting for people who, like me, don't care about it. Because you care about the people involved and the horse involved. So I do look at, I take like, what's the best book that's in the style of what I'm trying to do. And I'll absolutely read it and even get inspired by some of the tricks they use to tell the story, to hook the reader in, and how they combine action and information. But for each book, it's different for each book. I'll look at something else to be inspired by.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Casey. I'll ask after you.
Did you ever think you were gonna be this famous?
Yeah, no, not really, no. It's, all I really wanted the whole time was just to, especially when I was doing those textbook jobs, was just to be able to do this for a living instead, so I could just my own books and projects and spend my day doing stuff just like this. So that's basically what my job is now. I mostly spend my days here, and then some days I'll travel and go to schools or talk at conferences. So it's pretty much perfect. Actually, I've had so many terrible jobs. I never thought about, I want to make this much money or get this much award or something. I just thought, I just want to get to the point where I can just do stories that I actually like for every day. So that was the real success for me.
One of my questions is, what are your writing strategies?
Yeah, aside from doing the research, my biggest strategy is write this stuff behind me where I have lots of cards, I'm reaching, I have some over here. And it's very low tech. Of course you can do this on a computer, but I find all the best stories I could find, and then I'll have a different color for each character. Did you know that if you have a favorite TV show, think of that, and they have a couple, you know how they have a couple storylines going on at the same time? Maybe there are 3 or 4 main characters and each have their own story. That's kind of what I like to do, and I'll just write the best ideas for each character on a different color. And then it becomes like a puzzle. I can put it up on a board. And this is if you ever see the office of someone who's making TV, they always do this. They usually use those sticky notes and a little post-it note. And it's just a great way to organize the story. And so whether it's something for school or something you're writing just for fun, that's my #1 recommendation, is to make it visual. Find a space. It could be a wall in your room. It could be a notebook. It could be done on a computer. And just get all your ideas down somewhere where you can move them around and kind of almost watch them. Sure.
So Steve, I'm sorry. I got an email from a student who was really disappointed he couldn't make it today.
Okay.
It says, "Dear Mrs. Sierra, I'm sick and I'm so mad I can't meet Sheinkin. Please ask him if he'll write a book about Muhammad Ali."
Huh.
Also,
Somebody asked, go ahead, yeah, is there more?
okay, there's a couple here. Also, did he go to Boston to that special archive library to research his books on Arnold and Washington and King George?
I've been to a lot of, I've heard the Muhammad Ali suggestion before. I think this Undefeated is my sports book for now, I don't know. But, you know, I wonder do you know which archive he's talking about? I went to so many different.
He said Boston.
There's
There's a lot there.
There is a lot. I went to, if you look at the back, you see like this little picture of me,
What's that?
hopefully looking kind of cool in the back there. That's in Boston. That's Harvard Stadium.
Oh, wow.
So if you ever go there, you'll see that they have the football stadium that they had when Jim Thorpe was playing. It's 100 years old. And that's the kind of thing you just can't find in a book. Just to be able to go in there and just kind of feel the atmosphere of that old concrete football stadium. That was definitely one of those kinds of things are the best experience.
Cool. Okay, so there's one more. I'm sorry. Did you interview Pop Warner's family?
Oh, no. Well, I contacted his hometown too. And there's an archive there, so I did get some stuff from, kind of indirectly from his family, from friends who knew him. And he lived in this small farming town in western New York. And they just had a really small archive there that gave me some really cool family history.
Thank you. I will pass those questions on
Yeah.
to Christian when he comes back to school.
Wow, something that actually got published, in other words. Or, because I wrote stuff when I was your age. I don't know if that counts, because I don't meant to be a book. But it took me till I was like early 30s. Yeah. To write an actual book.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not really so famous anymore, but there are a couple books out there about it. And then mostly from, the ones I got interested, mostly from newspapers. And that's just all stuff you could find right in your computer, somewhere behind you, like in that library somewhere. But there's just lots of old newspapers online. You could just go back and read the articles about their games. I found the schedule, I saw the schedule of where they were each week. And then I could say, all right, they were in Syracuse that week, they were in Michigan that week, and like what college they were playing against. You could look in that city's newspaper and just start finding articles about it. And there was obviously no TV back then, so there's no highlights of them playing, unfortunately. But there were tons of articles. And that was the main way that I learned about it, because they were such a big deal. They were the most famous team in the country, so everywhere they went, it was a big story.
Was it harder to research this, some of the side characters in Undefeated, or
Yeah, that's a good question. Jim was pretty easy to research. He was so famous in his time. I really wanted to know more about some of the other guys. Gus Welch and some of the other players on the team. Gus was the quarterback. And I wanted to be able to flesh out some of those other ones. And those are much harder to find out about. And again, I tried to contact families and look at old newspapers. But just in general, there are no books about them. They're just much harder to find out about. Which is okay, I guess, because I knew Jim and Pop Warner were going to be the main characters. But I wish I could have found out more about some of them.
Hi. I have
Hey.
two questions. One, what was the message you were trying to say when you wrote Undefeated?
That's a good one. I mean, I think the title kind of says it all. And it's sort of a double meaning because, of course, as a team, they wanted to be undefeated in a literal way. They wanted to win all their games. But it's also, more importantly, I think, it's their spirit. Jim and they all had a pretty tough time. The school they went to was pretty bad place. That was really cruel to the kids. And so they didn't let it defeat them, in that way. And so that was kind of, if there's a message, I think, from the team and their story, I think that's what I take from it. And I think readers could sort of
And my second
be
question
different.
is, how did you know you were a writer?
Yeah, that definitely goes back to my middle school days. Not that I thought I was going to be successful at it, but that I like to do it, and that I like to make up stories in those days. I wasn't thinking about writing history at all, but I did like to write a story if I could, create something and make it up. And I thought, if I showed it to a friend and made them laugh, that was a big deal for me. That felt really good. And so that's where it came from, for sure. And I tried for many years to figure out how to turn that into a living. So it did take a long time. It's not like it was just happened overnight. But I knew from your age that I thought, okay, maybe that's something I could do. Yeah, thanks. Hey.
I'm a teacher here, and I have a few students who are developing talents as writers. And
Wow.
I wanted to ask, I think you were saying that you think of writing like you think of practicing for any sport, and it's something you have to work on every day. So, are you constantly working on a new book that may or may not come out, or do you just write like short stories or stuff that you know you're not going to do anything with, or keep a journal, or what do you do to exercise your writing?
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, some days I'm just literally sitting here for 6 or 8 hours, and that's just I'm writing all day. But when I'm not doing that, I'm a big fan of the journal. I'm looking around because I'm looking for a notebook. I always have notebooks lying around. Here, like this. Just nothing fancy, just like little things like this. Got my Wimpy Kids picture on it. But it's got little drawings in it, and notes, and so this is writing too, It doesn't have to be something fancy that's polished and finished up, but just 10 minutes or 15 minutes of writing down an idea, because if you're like me, you really will forget something if you don't write it down. So just take that little amount of time. Like you said, it's just like practicing anything else. And it's amazing how much you can get done in even just 15 minutes. You'll think of something you hadn't thought of before just by forcing yourself to sit down, work on it for a few minutes. That's what I find. Yeah, thank you.
Does anybody else want to ask something before we wrap up?
Hi again. So I was gonna ask, I really think about this earlier, but do you think you'd ever consider writing anything other than history?
Yes, I wish you could see my screen right now, because I'm trying to. I'm doing, well, first of all, actually the thing I'm writing some chapter books, which are much more like 2nd, 3rd grade things, and they're they have history in them, they're also kind of comedy, and they're fiction, so they're made up. And then I'm also just writing, just literally today, next to you on my screen, I have this novel that I'm trying to write a few sample chapters of. And it has nothing to do with history or research or anything, which is really refreshing, different, and it's just a kind of comedy adventure story. And so hopefully in a couple of years, you'll hear of it and say, oh, I remember when he told me about that. But right now it's still unfinished. It's really just a couple chapters on it's 12,620 words so far. That seems like a lot, right? I feel like it's word of it or something, word of the book. But it's not finished, it's just kind of sketchy. It's almost like this notebook, but in type form. So I'm trying to get that to the point where I can show it to somebody and see if they think it's good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, our last question, then we'll let you get back to your job.
Oh yeah, I have to go get my kids in a minute. It's much later where I am.
You are, I have 2 more questions, and sorry.
All right, good, go ahead.
Have you ever written anything and just stopped halfway and it's
Have you ever watched?
Yes. Partly it's happened in my job because I found a story that I just couldn't find out enough about. For instance, if it's nonfiction and I thought it was a really good story, but there was one I actually even took a contract for, so it took money to write, and then I just gave up on it because I couldn't find out enough about it. It was just too hard to research. And the same thing has happened with more creative stories too. I don't like to think of it as quitting, I'll put it aside. Like just this novel I did that I was just telling you about was something I probably started 15 years ago, which is, I know, longer than you have been on this earth, but it was, just something I just put down as an idea, and then I said, nah, I don't know where to go with that. But I didn't throw it out, I kept it. And now all these years later, I think, hey, that's pretty good, I'm going to take another look at it.
my last question is, do you believe in writer's block?
That's a thing. I've heard very many debates on that, actually. Yeah, it's real. Some people claim it's not, but it is. But you can always do something, though. You can always just switch to another part of what you're doing. Or if you can afford to, just put it down for a little while, go for a walk, go do something else. It's amazing your brain keeps thinking about a question or a problem. Give yourself a really, really, really specific problem. This is what I do if you're blocked. So give yourself a really specific problem to solve. I need to figure out how to explain this, or I need to figure out how to get from this scene to that scene, something really specific. And then just go off and do something else for a little while. And it's amazing, your brain kind of keeps thinking about it, and you might come up with the answer, a really surprising thing when you think you're not even consciously trying to work with it. But I think it's real. Do you think it's something?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Some writers say it's not, but for them it's
Alright, thank you. She wanted to confirm from a writer's
no, I agree, but
Tell your teacher, Steve Sheinkin says it's a real thing.
yeah, but I also said you could always do something.
So, Mr. Sheinkin, thank you again so much for this opportunity, and we took way more of your time than I asked you initially, so thank you for that as well.
That's
I know you need to go get your children from school, so we would like to give you a round of applause. Working with that, and we just really appreciate what you do, and your book is really good.
Thank you. This is
One, all of them, but this one specifically was the one that we read for our Battle of the Books, so.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really great.
Yay.
Bye.